Good evening, guys, and welcome to the second chapter of Symposium Season 4. So, we have had the first chapter of this season, like in the last week of November, and it was a great event. But in the last event, the participants had this liberty to choose their own topic. But in this season, like in this chapter, we have a little twist for them. So, like the participants were given a topic that was case study, and they had to present a PPT on case study of a particular topic. So that's it about this event. Now we would like to introduce our judge before we start off with the event.
Now I would like to introduce you to our judge, Miss Anandita ma'am, who is our very own club mentor. So ma'am, we are really glad to have you with us to judge the event today. Thank you so much ma'am for joining.
You're
Okay.
welcome.
So I guess the participants, like all of you, are ready with your PPTs and all. So we'll start off. Now, first up, we have Rahul Bansal. Rahul, you can just unmute yourself and
Yeah,
share your PPT.
yeah. So, good evening, good afternoon, esteemed judges and people present here to listen to me. Thank you for giving me such opportunity. So today I'm going to speak on the most neglected topic of in the world, that is mental health. So, what is mental health? A mental health is a mental disorder, also called a mental illness or psychiatric disorder, is a behavioral change or mental pattern that causes significant distress or impairment of personal functioning. Now, this definition was taken from Google, but what should be our ideology? It is far broader than we think, right? Now, all of us present here knows the ideology behind the concept.
Sorry
Of,
to interrupt,
Switch
Rahul.
on your camera.
oh, I'm really sorry, I forgot.
Yeah.
I'm really sorry. I'm really sorry. Huh. So, behind the concept of mental illness and how is it among Asians? Don't get me wrong. My main focus is not the whole world, but but if started from the most deteriorated concept, my focus is on Asia. Okay. So our ideology should be. It is very common. It is something that should be taken seriously, that the most of the people in India and even in other Asian countries, people, most of it, like they're like, no, it's not important, it's okay, he's just sad, he'll be fine. It's not like that. People should focus on breaking the stigma behind mental health. Also, moving on, what are the types of mental illness? Organic, including mental disorder, mental and behavioral disorder, schizophrenia, that is very common as we know, and many other, we can get it from Google or anywhere. But if we classify, or let's divide them under the two different and the most common conditions: anxiety disorder, most traumatic stress disorder, PTSD, obsessive compulsive disorder, panic disorder, and the next one, mood disorder. Mood disorder, as we all know, such as depression and bipolar depression, we all know this, right? So, as mentioned before, what do you think is the ideology of Asian community? People have the tendency to demonstrate the problem, stereotypes and discrimination that generates social disability. Asian brand of shame and pride, and not openly discussed, it's more than just sad. So now let's talk about a country which we all know, South Korea, popular for their classy music and tradition. But as we know, behind every beautiful and expensive thing, there is a dark side hiding behind. Did you know South Korea is the country with third highest rate of suicide? Now, why do you think is that the case? So apparently, South Korea's plastic surgery capital of the world, uh, it is known as a plastic surgery capital of the world with an astonishing figure of $5 billion. So here, if we graduate or if we pass our high school, what do we get? car or something, a car, a bike, or a mobile, what do the teenagers in South Korea get? A plastic surgery. Their parents give them plastic surgery. So you must be wondering why I'm talking about plastic surgery and all. It is not even relatable, right? But apparently in South Korea, people thinks that look buys them money, looks buys them fame, and does it is common in public, like every 1 in 3 women in South Korea has plastic surgery. And I'm talking about the common people here. Have you ever thought what goes on with this BTS and Korean actors? That is gonna be sad. So the K-pop artist has to sign a slave contract with the companies. They won't get any recognition after the completion of the contract, due to which most of them are helpless, and thus they shift their career to prostitution, unfortunately. The diet supplements, right. If if we have any BTS fan here, you must have seen there are several times even the actors or the performers are like they pass away in the middle of their performance. I mean, the diet is so strict that they won't even get food after 20 hours of whole day work, due to which there are there are many victims, to be honest. And as you can see, all in 20s. With this, you can only imagine the amount of pressure and deterioration of mental health they go through. Like China, he's very famous, passed at 27. Sully, K-pop artist, passed at 25. Go Soo Jung passed at 24. This is really sad, and we can't really feel that what goes into their mind. Like they're pressurized to another level. Anyway, moving on. How can you help? How can we help them? So, understand their triggers, anticipate them, and manage them by helping the person to avoid them as much as possible. The first point, and the most important, is the second point. That is, never ever ask like go into the try to enter their comfort zone forcefully. Never. We shouldn't do that, because it increases the mental pressure and it leads to several chronic, like it can even lead to mental attacks, like if someone is having asthma, like a mental person, not exactly mental person, but a depressed person. And there are many other things. Don't pressure them up to open up. Let them feel engaged and accepted by you by talking. Remember that depression is something a person snaps out of. No, nor can they choose to be happy instead. So it's okay to ask for help. I have decided to give some helpline numbers and helpline emails. Maybe somewhere here in our audience, maybe someone is going through some depression. We just don't know. But just it's okay to not be okay. Anytime, we all are there for you. Thank you.
Rahul, were you very clear about the topic today?
Yes, ma'am.
What was it?
Huh? We have to do
What was it?
Then we have to prepare a case study on a particular topic.
But basically, I don't have anything to talk about, against your topic. It's a good thing. And it's good to see, that in this 2020, we are actually coming up because of this COVID situation. We are coming up, and we are talking about mental health a lot. That is a good thing. I have no, again, nothing against the slide design that you used, or, the content that you have put in. That was quite much less, and you have spoken more on it. That's the good part. But basically, I think you did not stick to the topic. The topic, in the sense, is that you had the liberty to choose the topic, but the broader aspect of this session was that you have to talk about, a case study. There are a lot of case studies that are available online also on, mental health. And you have just, passed by the case study, the thing that you had made a comparison, okay, like about the Asian community, what they do and how they react to it, okay.
Yes, ma'am.
And then you have shown, what the Korean countries are doing. Okay, so therein you could have actually, when we talk about case study, it should be supported with lots of facts and figures. Okay,
Yes, ma'am.
the figures of mental illness in that particular country. Okay, what the country is basically doing for that. Okay, so these things were a little bit missing in the particular presentation. Okay, but is this your first time that you are presenting, or had you taken
Uh,
part in symposium or elsewhere earlier?
no, ma'am. I have done it before, like the Symposium Season 4, Episode 1. I've done it before.
You were there. Okay, and what was your topic then?
Introvert. It was a session where I busted myths about introverts. That's the thing.
Okay, okay. And one more thing, gesture is very, very important in communication. See, we have given this platform to the students, so that obviously each and every one of you have some good points that you can come out, okay, and you can portray in this platform. At the same time, there are certain inputs which all the judges, okay, me being the only judge today, I am handling this, but you have seen it at the first season and later on also. There will be mentors from different backgrounds and different fields. When they come together, to uh, put some questions to you, or to pinpoint something, for all the participants I'm saying this, do not take this to be a criticism. Okay, it is no way a criticism. We obviously want to see your better version the next time again, so hence we try our best to pinpoint the thing. And one more thing is, just a question for you: is
Yes, ma'am.
asthma a mental attack?
No, ma'am. Actually,
Yes.
there I wanted to make a relation that suppose there's a depressed person, but suppose he's having a asthma problem. And what I meant to conclude that if you pressurize that person, suppose that person is going through depression and he also has that asthma attack, it can like forcing ourselves into his comfort zone can trigger that asthma thing, and it can be a big problem. It can turn out to be a big problem. I just gave an example, not it is not anyway related to asthma.
Yeah, the example was okay, fine enough. But what you explained right now, that was not there during the presentation. That's why I had just pointed
Actually
out.
there was a time
And one
period, so
more
I
thing,
thought.
as for okay, it's okay, it's fine enough. With every time that you give a presentation, you will bring an improvement in yourself. One thing,
Yes,
as
ma'am.
I was talking about, gesture is very important. Basically, I don't know, either you are too nervous, hence you move your hands too often, or it can be you are too confident. That's why you do that.
I'm nervous. I'm telling you.
You're nervous. Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Yeah, it's fine enough. Even after teaching for 10, 12 years, even I become nervous when I face a new set of actually.
Yes, ma'am.
It's okay. That will go out away with this. Okay.
That's
Fine
why I
enough.
try participating in this
Next,
type of
can we move
event
on?
too.
Mm.
Yeah. Okay. Yes, ma'am. Thank you.
Yes.
Thank you, Rahul. So our next participant is Shri Sabu. Shri, are you here?
Yes, I am here, just
Okay.
presenting.
Okay.
Okay. Rahul is from which batch? First semester?
Ma'am, BMS 1A.
So, good afternoon, everyone. I am going to present a case study on DRDO. So, why DRDO? Basically, the thing is that during the COVID time, we had seen that how China came up at LAC, and we were having a very big border tensions. I want to come up with some facts on DRDO. Talking about its journey from 1958, when it was established after combination of three departments, namely TDE, DTDP, and DSO, from 10 laboratories to 52 laboratories, and now a specific laboratory concentrated to see the China and Pakistan's moves. Its speciality. Talking about DRDO speciality, specializes in many fields like its radars, missiles, light combat vehicle, etc. It's backed by over 5,000 scientists and 25,000 other technicians and everyone. And it has achieved a major development in radars like Swati radar, which has been in a great demand by Vietnam, Philippines, Taiwan. Even Armenia had signed a contract with India for the Swati radar, but due to the corona time, I think it has not been delivered to them. Then Kali radar, that has been India's secret weapon, missiles like BrahMos, Akash, Agni, etc. IGMDP, Integrated Missile Development Program, which was the idea of basically of Dr. APJ Abdul Kalam, and its vision was to attain sufficiency in the field of missile technology. This mission was given the approval by the government in the year 1983. Its mission was to develop 5 missile systems: Prithvi, Agni, Agni 5 versions, Trishul, Akash, and Nag. But there have been many issues with DRDO, like during the year of 2016-17, it was pointed out that about the budgetary funds going towards DRDO. Then it is also pointed out that DRDO suffers from lack of adequate manpower. It has a reputation of long delays, damaged weapons and everything. And the very shocking fact, the thing for which DRDO was made, that so that India can be self-sufficient in the making of defense weapons, that has not been achieved till now, even after 60 years of formation of DRDO. Then Kaveri engine, which is running 16 years late, and it is highly demanded by our Indian defense system. Then it has a very short success in Agni and Prithvi missiles. Then it makes big promises. DRDO basically makes big promises, and it's very small on delivery. The CAG had even put a question mark on DRDO's capabilities and everything. At last, I would like to conclude by saying that, in my opinion, the government is started being serious towards DRDO, because the government has been allocating funds in every budget session. We see the budget funds have been increasing every time. Then the issues with DRDO are, I think, been resolving. The DRDO is doing a great job. Their way of improving, their way of working has improved a lot. Many missiles like BrahMos 1 version, it has been in a very great demand, as I said. Then its second version is also coming, and that is going to be much lethal than the previous version. It will be inducted in the Indian defense system by 2024. Akash, another version, was test fired yesterday, recently 5 test missiles, and it is said that it can directly destroy China's fifth generation warfare aircraft J7. Then radars like Swati radar. Then as during the lockdown, when there was so much pressure of China from LAC, at that time DRDO geared up its full system. It has come up with such a system that it has become more effective and more powerful. So with this, I would conclude my presentation.
No question from this, because this topic is something which I had very less ideas on as well. So it was basically a treat to even listen to this, and I find a lot like you have a lot of interest in this particular area, and that is the reason
Yes, ma'am.
this time we did not keep it like we will specify the topic or something like that. It is your own area of interest. You are coming out and sharing your thoughts and ideas. Good job. Only thing is, I think, from talking about the slide presentation part, okay, not talking about your presentation, I'm saying the slide presentation, when you make a PPT, so try to stick to one particular background, okay. You may put in a lot of pictures or images or tables or anything to make it more attractive to draw the attention of the audience, but basically, if you are sticking to a white background, that throughout do that. If you're sticking to a gray background, then throughout, you do that only. Okay. And I don't know, like, I cannot make it out from here, but one requisition, which is very much required in giving a proper formal presentation is being formally dressed also. I don't know whether Rahul, I don't remember, whether Rahul was dressed formally or not. I can still see Shrey dressed up, in some semi-formal way, I guess so. But, it's just a request that any time that you come up to give a formal presentation, be it in your class, be it, in any platform. So the first thing that you should be doing, have 2, 3 things that it is very important. First is you should decide about the topic. You should be very thorough about the topic, no doubt. Second is, how you design your presentation. And third is also a lot of importance is given to your, your physical get up for that particular event also. Okay. So try to stick to something very formal for the days. Okay. Otherwise, it's a good
Okay,
try. I really liked it. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am.
You're from which batch?
Thank you so much, ma'am.
Ma'am, BSc in Media Science, Section 1A.
Thank you so much, ma'am. Thank you, Shrey. Okay, so up next we have Prabhat Singh.
So good afternoon, mentors, good afternoon, judges, and to one and all present over here. So I love the way that the entire theme of this event has been set. So I have chosen a case study over here. So the topic of the case study is basically slow and steady wins the race. So this is a question, and the answer of this question is something that I'll be discussing throughout this presentation. So this is a kind of a corporate remake of the cartoon that we have seen, or the very famous moral story that we have learned in our childhood, that is the rabbit and the tortoise race. So this is a corporate remake. Over here we will be talking about 2 very famous people in today's scenario, 2 very prominent names which are popular in the corporate world. So the very first one is the Harshad Shantilal Mehta. So you might know this person because he is in limelight right now because of the 1992 scam web series that has just come out. So for people who are not aware of who this person actually is, I am going to explain you who Harshad Shantilal Mehta was and what was his journey. For now, he was just a person. He was a scammer who manipulated the stock market, and he became one of the richest person in the 1980s and the 1990s. So the journey will be shared later. So this is the first person that we are going to look, and the second person is our very own Narayan Murthy sir. He is the co-founder of Infosys. He's one of the biggest leaders in today's scenario. He is an ex-chairman of Infosys as well. He was born in 1946. So throughout this case, we are going to talk about the journey of these 2 people. So let's look at the timeline. So the early life, the very beginning of Narayan Murthy and Harshad Shantilal Mehta. So they were more or less of the same age group. The difference was just 7 or 8 years. So now Harshad Mehta and one more thing, both belong to a very humble background. They were belonging to the lower middle class background. So we can compare that these 2 people were coming from the same background, which is basically the lower side. So before 1980s, Harshad Mehta completed his schooling. He was a graduate in BCom, and he was doing multiple marketing and sales job, which was very low. Like he wanted to become very rich in future, but he was doing a very low level sales and marketing jobs. During the same time, Narayan Murthy wanted to get into IIT, but he failed to crack the examination. But he eventually went to NIT, then completed his masters from IIT itself, and now then he was working as an engineer during this before 1980. He also went off to do a startup. The company was known as Softonic, and this company ultimately failed and went bankrupt within 1.5 years of operation. So this was one of the first failures for Narayan Murthy. Now, if we look at the period, the timeline from 1980 to 1992, this is the most important one. So try and focus. So during this time period, Harshad Mehta was in limelight. This era is famously very well known as the era of Harshad Mehta, because during these 12 years, Harshad Mehta founded his own company, which is Grow More and Research. He founded this company in 1984. From being a normal sales and marketing person, he went up to form a new company, registered it with the SEBI and the government, and now he started manipulating the stock market. He started manipulating the money market, and what he actually did was he took loans from the bank, and this was not a formal loan. This was like an illegal loan that he took because he had a lot of connections in SBI, UBI, and all these banks. So he took loans and he tried to invest this money into the stock market, and he manipulated the prices. So if a stock price was 200 rupees, he was able to take this stock price from 200 to 4,000 rupees. And this is the reason why he was famously known as the big bull of the stock market. So now, just within 12 years, from 1980 to 1992, this person went off from being nothing to one of the biggest billionaires in India. He gained a fortune. He got luxury cars for himself. He also owned a 15,000. I'm sorry that in the PPT I have mentioned 1500. It is actually 15,000 square feet bungalow that was sea facing. So you can understand that this was a huge change. It was like a linear growth that you can see, just like the graph mentioned over here. It was from 0 to 100 just in a few years. So it is a kind of rapid growth that this person has seen in his life. Similarly, during the same period, Narayan Murthy also co-founded Infosys. So Infosys was co-founded in 1981. Now, during this 10 years, Narayan Murthy was facing a lot of trouble in keeping the company running because the financials was not very good. The company was facing a lot of pressure in terms of finances. So many partners of the company left because they were not paid. So there was a time when when it was said that Infosys would be sold out to some foreign brand. But Narayan Murthy said that I'll not sell my company. This is my vision that I want to bring IT in India. I want to bring IT home. So this was the vision, and throughout this 12 years, he was working day and night to get this vision right. So this was like a progressive growth that he was focusing on. He was focused on the long-term goal. So now, what actually happened after 1992? That is actually the limelight. So in 1992, the Harshad Mehta scam was exposed by Suchita Dalal, who is a TOI editor. She exposed that Harshad Mehta was trying to take money from the bank. He was getting money illegally from the bank and manipulating the stock prices. Now, from 1992 to 2000, this person, Harshad Shantilal Mehta, landed up in jail. More than 50 cases were registered in the market against this person. And similarly, in 1992, after the scam was exposed, there was a bloodbath in the stock market, which means that the stock prices fell like crazy. It went down around 80% on the same day. So thousands of people lost their savings, hundreds committed suicide, and we all know the fate when such a scam and when such a thing happens in the market. And during the same time, Infosys actually grew slowly and steadily. In 1999, Infosys got listed on NASDAQ, which is a stock exchange of the US. And now in 1999, Infosys became the largest IT company of India. And at this point of time, Narayan Murthy was able to create 65,000 local jobs in India. And outside India today, Infosys stands with a fortune of, it stands in more than 50 countries with around 2.5 lakh workforce, the second largest IT company of India, the fifth largest company of India in terms of market capitalization. So this is what a slow and progressive growth looks like. Narayan Murthy is a living inspiration for people like us, that he has slowly and steadily helped us. He has shown us that if we work slowly and steadily, the long-term game will be much more. And if we look at the short-term game, which was an exponential want of becoming rich, just like Harshad Mehta, we would land up in jail. And also landing up in jail, he died due to heart attack in 2001. And Narayan Murthy today in 2020, he is one of the richest persons in India. He's one of the biggest philanthropists. He is rated as the 12th best leader in the Fortune 500 list. He has also been awarded by the Padma Shri and Padma Bhushan Award. He is also known as the father of Indian IT. So the reason behind this entire PPT or the entire case study was that in 2020 today, a new web series has come into the act, the Harshad Mehta scam or the 1992 scam. And the youngsters today, people like us, we all over here, the college students are inspired by the rapid growth of Harshad Mehta. Harshad Mehta is like a superhero for us right now. But I wanted to present this case study to compare a person like Harshad Mehta and Narayan Murthy, a person who has vision, a person who believed in slow and steady growth, who believed in getting his vision right. He was not after money. Even if he was after money, he believed that it would come in long run through the legal ways and not through the illegal ways. And with his consistent effort, Narayan Murthy has left an impact on the entire society. He is one of the greatest persons alive. And today, he has a foundation called the Infosys Foundation, which serves the poor, which tries to uplift the girls and all the people who are from the lower background. Also, today, his entire family is among the richest family of the world. And also, they have a great name when it comes to ethics, right? And what happened to the family of Harshad Mehta? No one knows after 2001 when he died what actually happened. The fact was that for the next 10 years, that is from 2001 till 2010, the family had to sell off each and everything that they have in order to pay back the loans that Harshad Mehta had taken from the banks. And this shows that how we can focus a lot more on slow and steady growth in the long run, and that is what will give us gain. So who won? I know that you all can now recognize that what was this PPT about and who actually won. So here, Tortoise again won because he was slow yet steady, but the rabbit wanted to jump faster. And the fast growth is always followed by a big crash. So I would just like to conclude with the fact that focus on slow and steady long-term growth instead of focusing on the short-term gains, right? So thank you everyone for listening in. Now it's over to the judges for the questions.
So first and foremost, a lovely topic. The reason being you have done justice to, the topic that was given, that is a case study, and this comparison and the way you presented, nothing, I do not have anything wrong to point out in it. But one thing is, Prabhat, just try to avoid using black slides, okay? Because black is something, which denotes a little bit of negativity, okay, as well. So just avoid, you if you want to use, something, put in a grayish type of something or any other color, just avoid black as far as possible. Now, I have taught you for the last 2 years. I have seen you in the last 2 years. I don't know from where Achanak you got this confidence level. Because when we had, these case study presentations or presentations as part of your internal exam, okay, in my subjects also. So I knew that you were a good speaker in the sense that you had fluency, okay, over the language that you're speaking in. That was good enough. But, can you just point out, because since you are from a senior batch, and there are a lot of, mostly juniors are here. So I would just like you to speak up, what actually, made this particular change in you that I can see right now here, the way you are presenting, or, even the fact that, you have chosen the right type of topic also. It's very easy to speak on a already stated topic,
Yes, ma'am. So basically, the journey from being an
You have to
absolute introvert.
understand that, what is the platform and which particular topic will be suitable. Okay, so
Right.
in that case, can we just get to know, like, can you just address the juniors, like how came up to this particular thing?
Right. Thank you, ma'am, for your kind words. So I know that the journey from being an absolute introvert from sitting on the last bench of the class, I have tried to come up with this entire fluency. So the entire journey of this 3 years, I would like to thank iLead first and foremost and all the mentors, because there was a constant like participating in such an event, participating in all these events actually helped me expose myself and bring down my nervousness level. And similarly, the very first thing that I would like to suggest to all the juniors over here is that try to choose a topic about which you are passionate. See, I am personally very passionate about the field of stock market, finance, and the corporate world. So whenever I speak, the thing comes out from my heart. So I don't have to put in extra effort. But when I'm presenting about something which is coming from an external factor, I have to read and all these things, I cannot actually do that. So throughout this, like just in last 1 year, I have also co-founded a company. For those who are know me, I'm the co-founder of Fuchsia Edumine. So I like ma'am, I'm actively into teaching as well. I educate people about financial literacy and all these things. So that is where the fluency came up from. So that is all that I want to say to the juniors and ma'am as well. It's over to you.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
Right. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Prabhat Bhaiya. So, with that, we are almost at the end of the event because due to so many events lined up one after the other, we have thought of keeping this event a little short. And also, we'll be coming up with the second chapter of this, of this chapter itself, like the second part of this chapter. So, there, like, the topic will be the same, and the rest of the participants will be presenting their PPTs and will be organizing that event in the coming week. And yeah, and the results will be declared after that event itself. Now, I would really like to thank everyone for being there, for the council members, the core. I can see Mahima Adi over here. Thank you so much for
I
joining
want
in.
to say something. I want
Yes,
to say
ma'am.
something. The thing is that, since we were not very aware about many events coming up, lined up today itself. So really, there were other people who had registered themselves also, but they could not make it for various reasons. So we have thought of keeping a second part of this, Otherwise, like there are a lot of people who were, interested, but because of this particular date, they couldn't, give up their names. So, so we will be waiting for another week time and then we will declare the result. But all the three topics were, and, basically, I liked each and every topic and each and every one of your effort also. And, with this, while I was listening to all your, presentation, even right now, the heads and the assistant head doesn't know about this, but I would like to announce, chapter 3 of session 4 of symposium, wherein we can actually, come up with a topic like rise of, business and media personality for our next, chapter, that is our third chapter. But we have another second part of this chapter, so we will wait for another 1 week time. Okay. And thank you so much for joining in. This is something which is very different from other events. It might not be a very fun sort of an event. Your entire life you have, to have fun till the time when we are, from the time that we are born till the time of our last breath, requires certain, serious events also. And this I consider a very serious event, because that is the reason we do not get lot of participation also, because there are very few people who understand the importance of giving a presentation, okay, and how it should be done. So, thank you so much for all the other council members also for joining in, and the club members and the heads and assistant head for designing and entirely putting up. And
Thank you so much, ma'am.
Thank
Thank you
you
so
so
much,
Thank you
much.
ma'am.
so much, everyone.
Thank you so much, guys. So with that, we come to an end of today's event. So, does anybody want to say something? Any of the heads, assistant heads, council members, anyone, or maybe the participants? If anyone wants to say something, please unmute yourself and you can just go ahead. Okay, I guess that's it.
And
So
next time, those people who are here as audience, we would really like to see you all as participants as well. This is just a, platform that you're seeing how they are presenting. And each and every one of you, irrespective of which particular stream that you belong to, at one point of time or the other, giving presentation, communicating properly, is something, and also, grooming through these sort of presentation, gathering information, doing research work. So these type of things will go a long way. So all the participants, and also it's good to see the participants next season also, and I would really like to see the participants in the next season as well, and also new people joining as participants as well. So thank you so much.
thank you so much, ma'am. Thank you so much.